What we've seen in the so-called rise of other nation states is more and more challenges to the post-Cold War era, where certain countries dominated, including the United States. There's a challenge to the institutions. Are they relevant today when only some are the ones who sit in certain seats? Are they sufficient? And some new ones have been created that the United States does not participate in. And also, are the values and norms by those institutions relevant for parts of the world that the founders never thought of? My sense is that we need to adapt those institutions, create new ones, join ones that we didn't before because we thought ours were the better ones.
I think that what is clear is, regardless of the administration, that the Bretton Woods institutions have outworn their usefulness. They're 75 or 80 years old, and so that is perhaps to be expected. And so my guess is that we are headed towards more emphasis on regional diplomacy rather than on multilateral or global.
The BRICS started with 5 countries, 6 countries, and now it's well over 25 to 30. I've done the count recently, but more and more countries who mean harm to us, as well as who are trying to have influence on the world stage, are joining that group. And they will have, whether we like it or not, a formidable say on how the world gets shaped. If you do your research on the BRICS and how they started and how they've evolved, they're not going to go away.
Then you see other institutions that are being created, an Asian Investment Bank, for example, that is going its own merry way, and the U.S. has never joined. So we need to be very creative on that, because the backlash is there, and it's going to continue.
I mean, the way of us just acting on our own, I think those opportunities are getting slim and none, to be honest with you. We need coordination, we need collaboration.
At least in my view, multipolar is not a dirty word. Multipolar is a structure in which the American ideals can thrive and indeed can dominate on a global basis if we play our game right.
They're going to have to get used to not being automatically put to the front of the line. You know, when the U.S. shows up at a conference or the U.S. stands up to speak, we're going to have to do some really, really hard work to get people to do what we want them to do. It's not going to be just a matter of a phone call and the president calling, you know, another head of state and saying, this is what we want you to do, because they can tell us to go soak our heads. And if we don't like it, they're going to deal with China or with Russia or with Turkey or with, you know, UAE. And so it's going to be a lot more work. It's going to be a lot more advocacy. It's going to be a lot more, flattery.
Less arrogance and more listening.